Welcome to World Transits Today. I'm Art Granoff. Connect with me at referenceastrology.com. In the reference library, you can find some information about archetypal astrology, and I have a couple of videos I've made about archetypal astrology. Also, you can book time with me for a birth chart reading, or you may want to be interested in my new course, Developing Archetypal Intelligence, starting at the end of June. Okay, thank you. Today, I'm going to be showing the May 2025 World Transits in Archetypal Astrology. We start today with a picture of three people on the left: Stanislav Grof, Bridget Grof, and Rick Tarnas. And that's them walking in China in 2016. And they are the authors of three of the major books in this field. One is The Way of the Psychonaut, which is a 2-volume collection by Stan Grof of all his work. Cosmos and Psyche, explaining archetypal astrology. And Bridget Grof's new book, recent book, Stan Grof, LSD Pioneer, talking about Stan's journey from pharmacology to archetypal astrology. And there's Rick and Stan in China. And they developed this map over here. Let me explain it a little bit. It looks like an hourglass, huh? We see up here regular ego consciousness, regular personal unconscious. Maybe we take some psychedelics or do some breath work. We regress to the perinatal matrices, perinatal around birth. And around birth is the same time we bring in the astrological chart for the moment of birth. Then we go further down to the transpersonal unconscious, to the archetypal dimension. Stan discovered in Prague in the mid-60s the 4 basic perinatal matrices after sitting with thousands of people during their LSD sessions. They kept telling Stan they were having various experiences of reliving their birth. And Stan as well, in his sessions, had the same thing. And through time, he developed the 4 basic perinatal matrices. The first one is everything is okay in the womb, so to speak. Just doing okay. The BPM2, things are not okay. Some trouble. Look at that. That guy doesn't look too good. And BPM3, intensity, trying to get out of the womb. The guy doesn't look too good there. And then 4, the 4th matrix, BPM4, pop, we made it. We're here. Then when Rick Tarnas came along in the 70s, he brought in some astrology, and he found out that BPM1, the amniotic universe, matched all the descriptions in astrology books of Neptune: undifferentiated consciousness, mystical union, flowing Neptune. And wouldn't you know it, BPM2, being stuck in the birth canal, the frustration, the anxiety, the intensity. BPM2, Saturn. And then BPM3, more intensity, the struggle, trying to get out. BPM3, Pluto. And then 4, we made it. BPM4, Uranus, released from custody. With that in mind, in the sky right now, we have 2 major planetary alignments. One is Uranus trine Pluto, which is in purple over here, going from 2022, stretching a full decade to 2032. And Saturn conjunct Neptune, 2024 to 2027, in gray over there. What's this about? Well, with Uranus and Pluto, Uranus is about awakening and breakthroughs, sudden change. And Pluto is about power, rebirth, and intensity towards one's distinctive path. And together, they symbolize a fresh revolution, a collective awakening, and an intensified drive for freedom. And that's them right there, BPM 3 and BPM 4. Then we notice too, Saturn and Neptune, BPM 2 and 1. That would be BPM 2 Saturn and BPM 1 Neptune. Saturn's about limitation and boundaries and discipline. And Neptune is idealism and spirituality or confusion. And together, you're either building dreams or being confused between what's real and what's ideal. With archetypal astrology, we use all that information three ways. The first way is in the birth chart. We look at all that in the birth chart. Then we look at the world transits, which are happening right now for everybody all over the world. And we combine the birth chart, which is your personal information, with the world transits, giving us the personal transits, which last a certain amount of time. Okay, so let's talk about some inner planet transits for May 2025. Let's start with the planet Mars. Mars is our initiative. It's our motivation. It's the drive that gets us going. And when Mars meets with other planets, they combine, they give us certain themes. So in this case, we have the planet Mars there in a long transit with the planet Saturn from September of last year, just ending in this May right here. If Mars is our initiative, okay, it's our way we get things done. And Saturn is about building, is about or restricting. So you could say that Mars with Saturn is the energy to move forward, to build something that lasts, something that's solid. Or on the shadow side, Mars could be forcing something, Saturn, that doesn't want to give in, that stands firm. So Mars will be forcing, and keep forcing. There could be sparks. And we know what happens when there's sparks between people or countries. Mars, Saturn. Then we have also Mars, sextile Uranus. Now, Uranus, BPM 4, the freedom factor, liberation, okay, release from custody. So if Mars is our drive and initiative, and Uranus is what's new, well, we could think, what's new and exciting for me? What can I put myself into that is exciting? Whether something that comes from me or something maybe my employer wants me to get into. Nonetheless, it's still drive. Okay. Now, the shadow of that would be too forceful or too free and out of balance. Then we look to the planet Neptune. We have Mars trine Neptune. And that's been going since early October through May. That is a long transit. So, Mars, our initiative, our drive, and Neptune is spirituality towards undifferentiated consciousness. So we could say that Mars Neptune would be moving towards wholeness, hey, or being really spaced out, not sure what to do. Neptune can delude us. Try to start doing something, but you're deluded. And what usually happens then? Thank you. And Mars opposite Pluto from October through May. Now, this could be a tough one, but at the same time, if Mars is force and tenacity, and Pluto is intensity and going deep and further than you can go, you could say that Mars with Pluto could stand for courage and hard work and just getting the job done. Besides being Mars is force and Pluto being intensity. So when you have force and intensity, there's going to be a lot of sparks, a lot of boldness, and a lot of, hey, I'm in charge around here, Pluto. And Mars, lots of sparks and trouble. Over the past months, we've seen from October, the lead up to the election, it was not pretty. Then we had the election. Trump won the election. Who knows? He won the election. And then the reign of terror began. Trump's reign of terror. Mars, Pluto, just smashing, destroying everything he could until someone stops him. So that's kind of the motif of Mars with Pluto. Just going forward and taking what you want until maybe someone stops you. So, if we notice, all through October through early May, we had Mars with Uranus, Mars with Saturn, Mars with Neptune, and Mars with Pluto. We could see a little further here. Okay, on May 1st, we notice the Sun, Mars, Pluto T-square, identifying with intensity and force, identifying with hard work and tenacity. Looks like the world's on fire right now. We've got those big wars still cooking. It's a lot of trouble right now, a lot of intensity. Sun, Mars, Pluto. And just to show you, just to drive it home one more time, we see the last round of Mars opposite Pluto runs still around through the middle of the month. We had Sun with Mars and Sun with Pluto. So this whole April and mid-May was a Sun, Mars, Pluto package. Tenaciousness and hard work, or just rip their heads off and more war, more intensity. On the 12th, May 12th, we have the full moon. Sun opposite moon around 10:30 a.m. here in Santa Rosa. And it looks like this full moon is with Uranus. Yes. Uranus, Sun, Uranus, Moon. The Sun with Uranus, it's pretty nice. Uranus representing again BPM4, freedom, release from custody. And the Sun, our identity, who we are. Sun, Uranus. You're sunny. You got the halo. You feel illuminated towards what's new and fresh. And Moon with Uranus. The moon being our private side, our inner person, our sensitivity. With Uranus, freedom. Could be a good release for our emotions, mellow us out a little bit, but we can overdo it and get too emotional and get too free, and then we're, kind of a mess. So watch that. Stay in the middle. Let's look at some more inner planet transits, shall we, for this month. So we start with the Sun. See, here's May right here, May. We have the Sun with Saturn, the Sun with Uranus, the Sun with Neptune, and the Sun with Pluto. If we look over here, we notice further with Sun Uranus starts around the 5th or 6th, and Sun Saturn a day or two later, Sun Neptune a couple days later, and Sun Pluto. So it looks like from May 12th or so to May 27th, about 14 days, 2 weeks, we'll have all of them together. It's the Sun with all 4 basic perinatal matrices. Pretty good, huh? We have Sun, Uranus, Pluto, and we've got Sun, Saturn, Neptune. Now, again, Uranus and Pluto. Breakthroughs, innovation, sudden change for Uranus. Pluto, destruction and rebirth, collective unconscious. Revolutionary transformation, collective awakening. So if we have that with the Sun, the Sun, our identity, so we identify with freedom and collective awakening. It's pretty good. The Sun also is with Saturn and with Neptune. Well, identifying with the Sun, Saturn is about limitation or discipline, and Neptune, spirituality or confusion. either building dreams or tension between what's ideal and real. So now we go back here and notice we've got Uranus and Pluto, Neptune and Saturn, and we're identifying with it. Hey, go ahead. We see also the planet Mercury for May 2025. See right here, from the 5th or so till around the 17th, it's Mercury square Pluto. Mercury's our mind, our thinker, our intellect, and our communication device built right in. So Mercury with Pluto, Pluto BPM 3, the death rebirth struggle. Mercury with Pluto, think of that as using your mind to go deep, underneath the surface, underneath what's commonly known, to find out something more. That may be reading some esoteric books, that may be mining oneself in meditation, anything that will give you a deeper view that your intellect is satisfied with in any subject, that would be Mercury Pluto. The shadow of that would be depending and leaning on too much book knowledge, okay? Too much knowledge from a book and trying to elucidate that as it's real. And it could be to some extent, but when you're talking about these deep subjects, you want to, as best, use your own experience as the guide. And then you can speak about it with authority. Here's Mercury transits for 2025. We notice Mercury with Uranus, Mercury Saturn, Mercury Neptune, and Mercury Pluto. I think it's similar because it's Mercury, Uranus, Pluto, and it's Mercury, Saturn, Neptune. Mercury, Uranus, commonly known as the aha moment, when we get it. It's clear, the new information's coming in. The shadow could be too much information, and we're just all over the place. Mercury, Saturn, I like to think of that as Mercury, the train, on the track, Saturn. Track will take you where you need to go. Okay. It could also limit us. Many times we grow up in families that offer us religion of some kind, and sometimes we like that, and we put our train on that track and keep going. But sometimes the train doesn't fit on that track. It would limit us too much, so we look for something else. We have Mercury with Neptune. Neptune BPM 1, the transcendent. Could be Mercury in your mind in the transcendent, meditation. Or Mercury with Neptune could be confusion. You pick meditation or confusion. Also, Mercury Neptune is a combination for the artist, the musician, the poet, anyone using their mind in a creative or imaginative venture, whereas Mercury with Saturn would refer to practical things in the world. You're an engineer, or you're a nurse, or something important along that line, following procedures, having intellectual knowledge, etc., or how to do things practically to help people. Mercury, Saturn, Mercury, Neptune, reality and imagination. And Mercury, Pluto, back again, Mercury, Pluto, twice. Look at that. Twice. Double decker, front and the back. Mercury with Pluto. Mind digging under the surface, finding the prize. Okay, Mercury transits. Let's log them right here. Okay, there they are, all logged in May. How about Venus? Venus. Venus transits. May, here we are, May 2025. Looks like for the first half, we've got 4 Venus transits from April still hanging out. We've got Venus with Saturn, looks like about a 6-week transit. We've got Venus with Uranus, looks a little more like a 2 month transit. We have Venus with Neptune and Venus with Pluto. Hey, same thing. It's Venus, Saturn, Uranus, and Venus, Uranus, Pluto. Venus with Saturn, Venus being love and beauty. We think of Aphrodite and pleasure, aesthetics, the art gallery, music. Venus as personal paradise, with Saturn in a container of some kind, in a safe place, in a relationship, in a situation in the world where your heart and all you got is safe. Or Venus with Saturn, Saturn can restrict. Okay. And so maybe your heart is not in a container. So it's unhappy. It doesn't feel safe. Or it's in a container and things aren't going too well. So it's your heart's limited in that container. So either side, Saturn can be strength or Saturn can limit. So Venus Saturn is strength and love, and Venus Saturn can limit us. Venus Uranus, really nice. Venus love, Uranus BPM4, freedom, liberation, new love, the love poem. Very nice. Or you could get too free, too Uranus out, and Venus Pluto. That's deep. That's really deep. That's the beauty and the beast combination. Venus would be beauty, love, and tenderness. And Pluto's Hades, power, fire, and intensity. So Venus Pluto could be the really intense, sexual, Dionysian paradise. Just let it all out. Or Venus Pluto can be power struggles with who's on top. Let's log Venus. Bam, right there in the May. And who's left? We did Mars already. Let's see what Jupiter's up to. We see right here Jupiter with Saturn and Jupiter with Neptune. So it's Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune. Started last year in July and over around July. Jupiter expands. Jupiter brings success, good fortune, magnificence. Okay. With Saturn, the bottom line, Jupiter, Saturn, building something important, building something to hold, building a container to hold something great. Or Jupiter, Saturn, expansion and restriction, confusion. Jupiter with Neptune. Again, Jupiter expansion, success, and Neptune with the transcendent, easy flow. So if Jupiter with Neptune brings good fortune to spiritualness, spiritual activities, Jupiter Saturn can bring good fortune and success to stuff out here. So it's a good package. Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune. And back to Saturn, Neptune, reality, discipline, spirituality, transcendence, building dreams, or tension between what's real and ideal. I'm now going to present three people with Saturn, Neptune aspects in their chart. Saturn, Neptune for life. The first person is Xi Jinping. I hope I said it right. The president of China. And he's born in June 1953, about a month after me. Hey, who's older? And we notice in his chart, he's got Saturn conjunct Neptune right there. Okay, Saturn, Neptune. So he's either building dreams or he's confused. And if you've been following the news on China the last while, he doesn't look very confused at all. He looks like he knows what he's doing completely. If you notice too, he's got the sun right there and Mars. Sun, Mars, Sun with Neptune, and the Sun with Saturn, and the Sun with Pluto. So he's got Sun with Neptune. He identifies with what's ideal, identifies with flow. Shadow side of that, he could be too flowing, too identified with that. He's got Mars with Neptune. Mars is action, Neptune's spirituality. So with Sun, Mars, and Neptune, in a way, he's consciously moving towards wholeness. And with Saturn there, Sun, Mars, Saturn, he's a great builder. He's got tenacity and he's going for it. Also, with Saturn and Neptune, you notice we've got Mercury with Saturn and Neptune, and we've got Uranus with Saturn and Neptune. So, Mercury, Saturn, Neptune is really nice. It could be the meditation triad. Saturn, time, Mercury, your mind, Neptune, the transcendent. You're sitting through time with your mind in the transcendent. Meditation, pretty good. And Uranus, Saturn, Neptune. He's got the square, the Uranus square Saturn from 1950 to 1960 that many of us have. One easy way to think of Uranus with Saturn would be new versus old. It would be tradition versus the new thing. So you could say Xi Jinping is an innovative leader because he's taking China and taking them out of their century of humiliation and rising on the world stage in a great way. So the Mercury Uranus, okay, the aha moment that he has in his chart, in a square with Saturn Neptune, building dreams. Looks like that's what's happening. And also you notice that in his chart, he's got Saturn with Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Okay, Saturn right there with Neptune, Saturn with Uranus, and in a trine with Pluto. Saturn, Pluto, the bottom line for transformation. You could look at it that way. Thank you very much, Xi Jinping. Did I say it right? I hope so. Person number two, Vladimir Putin. He's the president of Russia, and he's born in October 1952 with a Saturn and Neptune conjunction right there, combined actually with the Sun and Mercury. So he's got that four-planet stellium right there in Libra, in air, thinking, relation. Saturn with Neptune, with the Sun, identifying with building dreams or confusion. He's got Sun Mercury, using your mind and communicate to build dreams. I think he's doing that in his own way. Also, Vladimir Putin with Mars trine Pluto. We just covered that a few minutes ago. Mars Pluto, a lot of intensity. Ugh. He's got that war going on. I wish he'd probably like to finish it too, don't you think? And Pope Francis, who just died recently. He's born in 1936, December 1936, with Saturn opposite Neptune. So he has Saturn opposite Neptune. He's the Pope. It must be really tough being the Pope. You've got pressure from everywhere to be a certain way, and yet you're a human being. And the word is that this particular Pope, Pope Francis, was somewhat liberal, and he wanted wars to end, and he wanted peace everywhere. Yet he couldn't go too far because the denomination he is in is very conservative. They don't believe in any of that stuff. So he had a tough time. Pope Francis as well. Saturn, Neptune. Building dreams or just being confused. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you, Xi Jinping. Thank you, Vladimir Putin. And thank you, Pope Francis. 26th of the month, we have the new moon, Sun conjunct moon, the Alpha and the Omega. Again, and what happens is the moon in 29 days or so covers the zodiac and is back again. The Alpha and the Omega. It's a really cosmic time, really cosmic day. And it happens every month, whether you think about it or not. Pretty cool. The new moon. I keep talking about Uranus and Pluto and Saturn and Neptune. Well, here they are, distinguished on their own, right here on May 1st, 2025. And we see, there they are, the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, 4 degrees apart, and Uranus and Pluto about, 7 degrees apart. We move another month to June, right there. We notice they're almost exact. Okay, Saturn, Neptune, 1 degree apart, and Uranus and Pluto, about 5 degrees apart. Go another month, July 1st. They're still 1 degree apart, these two guys. And Uranus and Pluto, about 4 degrees apart, 3 degrees apart. They peak in August, August 1st. We'll have to celebrate Jerry Garcia's birthday, August 1st as well. August 1st, Saturn conjunct Neptune, exact conjunction, exact. And we have Uranus and Pluto just 2 degrees apart. So the next few months are really strong for the four outer planets that I showed you initially with the four BPMs, right? And here they are on their own, tight as tight can be. This is the tightest they're going to be for the year, righty? And this is what it looks like, okay, on the transit timeline. It's quite awesome. Here we are in May, okay, June, July. And if you notice here, what do we have? We've got Saturn conjunct Neptune. We've been talking about that for a while today. Uranus trine Pluto. Those four, which are again these four planets. And then there's a bunch of, if you notice here, a bunch of sextiles. Look at this thing. I'll separate them. I'll show you. Well, we have our four transpersonal outer planet sextiles in the middle of those other two alignments. Look at this. Let's go to Saturn. We've got Saturn sextile Uranus for a couple of years. Saturn would be the old, would be tradition, would be the way we always do things. And Uranus would be what's fresh, what's new around the corner. So many times it could be a clash between the old and the new. And there it is, there. Saturn sextile Uranus. We also have Saturn sextile Pluto. It's either limitation or strength of transformation. Pluto can be tough, can be an ego crusher, and Saturn can be really kind of strong and pushy. Saturn can limit, Saturn can shrink a situation, and Pluto can make it intense. So if you have Saturn and Pluto as an aspect or a transit, what you're doing is you're going back to, where are they here? If you have Saturn and Pluto, you're looking at back to the four basic perinatal matrices. You got Saturn, oppression, and Pluto, the death rebirth struggle. I mean, you're like right here at all the intensity. So watch out. That could be strong. Saturn and Pluto. That's when wars start. That's when a lot of intense things happen. So Saturn sextile Pluto. I have that for life in my chart. And we have also Uranus sextile Neptune. Uranus BPM 4, Neptune BPM 1. They're the bookends. It's it's easy access to the transcendent. It's easy access. Any type of practice, any spiritual practice, anything you do, if you work at it, it won't be that hard to go in. It's set up for you for that. It's set up for us right now. So try it out. And the 100-year transit, Neptune sextile Pluto, from late 1930s to early 2030s. Two words: spiritual transformation awaiting us. So, looking forward to the next few months when all of these transits get really tight and peak in August of 2025. Great time for going deep in yourself, doing some breath work, maybe take a journey. Check it out. The time is ripe to go deep. And if you made it this far, here comes Trump's transits. I think it's a good idea for us to see the transits that President Trump has, and we can check it all out together to see if he is living his transits or not. Let's see what he's got. The U.S. president's personal transits. He's got Mars conjunct Pluto. Oh my gosh. That's right there. Say 20 days more. Mars on top of Pluto. It's tough stuff. It's intensity and force, and belligerence, and pushing his way through, pushing his agenda through. He seems to be doing that now. He's got Mars square Uranus for a few weeks. Mars, and it's squaring Uranus right there. That would be the new things he's doing, just a lot of action on top of them to get them done. Reaching into his tool bag and trying to get new stuff done quickly. He's got Jupiter conjunct the Sun right there. Jupiter conjunct the Sun. Jupiter 21, the Sun at 23. That's pretty good. That's a success and good fortune individually. So that's a positive for him. It's also very charismatic, wearing the halo, which he wears in some way. We've got also Jupiter on top of Uranus, just ending, it looks like. That's really nice. That's freedoms and breakthroughs. So he's getting some stuff done. Saturn trine Saturn, still going. Saturn just started a couple of months ago, and that runs through February of 26. So it could be more tightness and intensity for him. Besides having Mars with Uranus, he's got Uranus square Mars. Now that's a big one there. Uranus in a square with Mars. And he's about halfway through that. And what that again would be him just reaching into his motivation, his initiative towards new things. So that's kind of what's happening now in the first period of the Trump presidency. Also, Pluto trine Neptune. Pluto trine Neptune. It's a long transit, just started for him last year till 2030. And so we'll have to give him, a spiritual transformation. You never know, right? Or delusion, intensity and delusion. It could be that, probably. What do you think? You pick. And upcoming, Mars is going to be heading over here to Mars for the first part of June. That's next month. And then check this out. Starting in July of this year, he's got Saturn opposite Neptune. Saturn opposite Neptune right there. So he's going to be in a Saturn-Neptune situation, either building dreams, which he's trying to do, or being stuck and confused, which I think is mostly what's going to be happening. What do you think? Thanks for joining me at World Transits today, for May 2025, running down the transits. And before I go, I want to show you the 1 minute brochure to my course coming up in the summer, Developing Archetypal Intelligence for Psychonauts. Thanks so much, everybody, and see you next time.